last time. We're doing it live. No. Alright. There's a video by CoffeeZilla here I'm going to review, and we'll hopefully be able to get this all done. I watched into it part of the way. I did not finish it, and we probably won't finish it because, you know, fair use and crap. It's nice not to. It's nice to leave a little bit for people to drive people to his. For the record, this is CoffeeZilla, but this is Voidzilla, his other channel. He's yammering on about gambling, which I agree with him on. It's one of those scenarios where, like, it feels like gambling and the people who perpetrate that type of stuff is not entirely dissimilar to the notion of, like, drug dealing or, you know, women who might use their looks to get ahead. Although I would see that as a little bit less dubious in a moral sense. But it's the idea of people that they put a carrot in front of people and string them along at the cost of that person's well-being. Like, it's just it is the lowest of the low, the bottom of the barrel, the dregs of humanity that participate in this type of thing, in my mind.
People wonder why I'm so mad about the gamblification of everything, and it's because we're exploiting you at the last possible step. I mean, we've already sucked up all your time. We've already sucked up.
This guy looks like, I'm pretty sure he's either a robot or an alien. That head looks unnatural.
Up all your attention. We've gotten you addicted to your screens. And now this is our last chance to steal your chance of a successful financial future by embedding gambling within these financial super...
For the record, he had done a video before this actually on the notion of prediction markets, which I should have watched. I feel like that would be like a good kind of homework for this type of thing, because I think he goes into that a little bit.
Apps that are supposed to help you with your finances, we are now parasitically sucking the life out of you. And I want to talk, I mean, I'm not going to stop yapping about it.
The entire premise of, like, in gambling, that people think they're so lucky that they're going to win. Like, if I guess it's maybe just because people think they're the exceptions to the rule, but, like, if it wasn't a solid business model, people wouldn't do it. If people actually won gambling reliably, there wouldn't be a business made out of it. Like, the house always wins, right? That is the basic, that's the reason they have a business.
Sorry, I know I'm beating a dead horse here with the whole our prediction markets, gambling, blah, blah, blah.
I'll get a stick too. Now this is, yeah. This is a worthy cause in my mind. It's, so, yeah. Preach away, sunshine.
Look, I know it's not a big secret, right? That, of course, they are, but why then are our regulators so confused? Why?
I've asked this before. This is a New England accent, right? He sounds like he's kind of from New England, but I'm thinking not New York, though, necessarily. Maybe it's New York, though. Huh. Maybe it would be a certain area of New York. I'm not for sure, though.
Then is this such a big dialogue? And I realized it's not too dissimilar from the Galaxy gas epidemic we talked about a while ago. That's when they basically sold nitrous oxide under the loophole of this is a food product. In fact, the company maintained the illusion.
Yeah. It's a nice loophole. But they did close that, by the way, right? Like it, well, I guess I don't know. Is Galaxy gas still legal? That was Kanye's things, right? Too. I think he was at least for a while he was on that. I don't know. He seems. I thought I seen something recently where Kanye had kind of chilled out a little bit. Hopefully that sticks. I feel like Hollywood in general is just not the best place for your mental health. Just all those eyes on you, the whole environment. Alright, Galaxy gas still legal. The product itself is legal for legitimate uses. And this is AI. I don't know if I trust that. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they do. Like it's just as, I think it's like a really short, maybe high, like a really intense short high. But man, that is.
That they were actually to make, citrus nitro margaritas, when in actuality, people were using it to get high. But the company had to maintain the illusion that, they had this high-minded use for it of culinary arts, And that's...
Who could possibly, misuse that? It's one of those things, or you have to think, if the people who were actually manufacturing it had this in mind, there had to be some dude in the room who was like, oh, wow, maybe I could use it for that. It's like one of those things, you have to have maybe some sort of Zoomer or some irreverent schoolboy around in one of these these rooms where they make these decisions, because it feels like someone should have been like, dude, they're gonna totally fiddle with that.
It's really the same thing you see with these prediction market companies. They have to say, hey, we're actually an oracle for truth. We're not just gambling, even though they keep following the playbook of the casinos, and the casinos are the ones competing with them. So recently, Kalshi announced something called combos, which is where you can combine two bets to get a higher payout. Now, if you don't know, this is one of the most popular things in sports betting. It's called a parlay. They just rebranded it, and they now call it trading instead of gambling, combos instead of parlay, and they have to maintain this illusion that this is about somehow hedging future risk or something like that, when everyone knows what it's actually being used for, which is to, of course, gamble more. And my problem is that now we are injecting this into the entirety of our society. And
it's one of those things where, if it were a thing where, rich and famous people were playing around with their money, that's I suppose still stupid as all get out, but yeah, if you have enough to lose, you can play with it, I suppose, ish. But this is that's not, I don't know if it's necessarily even who these people target. Obviously they have whales, but I don't know what makes up the majority of their gambling customer base. It's it feels like often it's the people who maybe couldn't afford to lose it they're desperate, and that they, I don't know.
Yes, I already had a problem with the gambling companies doing this, but it's even worse now because these new prediction markets have none of the regulations or controls that gambling companies already didn't have enough of. I don't know if that makes sense. If you were on...
This was something I was wondering, actually. Well, it's obviously a scenario where there are people who will always come up with loopholes in the law, and it feels like you'll always be able to come up with new loopholes, especially with technology advancing at the stage it is now. But I was wondering if there would be a disparity or a delineation between the type of criminal who plays fast and loose with the law but might, quote unquote, abide by the law but finds loopholes, versus a criminal who's a violent criminal or who just out and out breaks the law. If there would be kind of a difference there. Yeah. I'd had a joke about this. What's the difference between a politician and a white-collar criminal? A good publicity agent and a good lawyer. No! Dang it! I lost it. I'm gonna probably cut that. Stupid. I had it figured out, and it's probably a stupid, corny joke anyways.
DraftKings, there's a way to self-exclude. If you are on a casino, they by law have to let you self-exclude. But on these prediction markets, there's no obligation to do so. And I'm just trying to sound the alarm about the insanity of this. So if you don't know...
Is the I wonder what that self-exclude function would be if they make you, you can permanently, take that out. I don't know.
So Coinbase and Robinhood are what's now called these financial super apps, where they do more than just one thing. It used to be Coinbase was about crypto.
Fancy name. That makes it better, right?
Crypto. Now they're going to do stocks. They're doing prediction market. They're doing everything. But importantly, the prediction markets, they're doing gambling. So you can direct deposit your paycheck, and they will let you invest, but they'll also let you gamble. And to understand why this is a problem, let's understand what their ambition is.
This one's going to sound a little bit crazy. But it feels like if you think of like random chance as like a giant tug of war between everything that exists, the entire notion that you could get quote unquote lucky is kind of ridiculous. Like the whole point of random chance is that it doesn't bias in one direction or the other. It's a type of maybe unobtrusive symmetry to it. I don't know.
Is first, these companies.
We need to be the most trusted place to manage your entire financial life. So to that end, we've been building across these 3 phases of crypto adoption.
Okay, you see that. The most trusted place to manage your entire
It feels like the whole notion is like kind of counterintuitive.
financial life. That's what their aspiration is. You're going to manage your entire finances. Then why then are you offering something that you know will make someone's financial future worse? It's like saying, hey, I want to be the health super app, right? So I'm not just going to offer, x-rays if you break your arm. I'm going to offer you carrot juice if you need vitamin A. But then you say, I'm also going to offer junk food and Oxycontin out of the back office. And it's like,
and a slippery staircase just in case you want to re-break your other leg or something. It feels like, I don't know. It feels like, I was thinking about this. There's actually something before I was thinking about. There's this thing where it feels like the perception of trust is the only thing that's saving a lot of companies from this type of, because like some of these companies, they feel like just a little bit of scrutiny just tears it all to pieces. So they have to have this type of facade of, oh yeah, you can trust us.
wait, what? Those 3 things are not equally compatible, right? One of them, for sure, is going to make someone's life meaningfully worse in health terms. And yet, that's what these finance bros are doing. They are offering...
This one looks weird, too. He actually kind of looks like Nathan Fillion to me. Or some other dude that plays him wrong. I don't know.
Things that they know will make your financial life worse.
Okay. I have a question.
Are doing. They are...
Why does he have a paddle with the word yes on it? Definitely robot. Definitely. The aliens have already arrived. Sorry. It's over for us.
Offering things that they know will make your financial life worse because why? These are zero-sum, in fact, negative-sum games when you account for fees. Now, what am I talking about here? Well, I just want to explain this to you because something I've seen a lot of is the idea that, well, maybe it's gambling, but it's fine because the whole stock market is gambling anyways. And this couldn't be further from the truth. People seem to not understand the difference between like day trading, which is speculating, it's gambling, and long-term investing, which has a positive expected value, even though it does have volatility. So I want to run a simulation for you here.
Yeah. I think the entire premise of like long-term stock things is that inevitably, like you're instead of like putting your money in a static state where it's not going to grow at all, pretty much, you can stick your money into something that's a pretty safe bet that will grow over time. Businesses start out small, and unless they're going to go out of business, you're probably going to get a fair return for your money, and at least you're maybe staying level with inflation or something like that. You might not make a lot of money, but quite often, I think that's the notion. Like it's a pretty, so it's not exactly gambling, although there are risks, obviously.
For a second, okay? In one of these, you're going to have a 0% odds either way. So it's a 50-50, basically. You win money or lose money. The other, we're going to take a little fee. We're going to take a slice of your bet. We're going to take a 1% on your odds. So you have slightly less than 50% odds. Think of these like a prediction market. And then we're going to have a positive sum game here. We're going to have something where more often winning than not. You can think of this as like long-term investing in the world stock market and not selling, right? It may go up, it may go down, but on average, we're making more things than we used to. So on average, you're going to be expected to win. Now, when you run these simulations, I want you to notice that it doesn't look the same every time. There's different outcomes here as we, make bets. Like yes, sometimes you survive longer as the sports bettor. Sometimes you survive longer as the prediction marketer. But overall, you always drive to zero in a long enough time frame. You're always going to end up with a $0 balance if you play the negative sum game long enough. And that's my fundamental problem with these prediction markets. They know that on average, you are going to lose. Their traders are going to lose because, of course, someone has to take a fee for this, and it's PvP otherwise. So they know it's a negative sum game.
The house always wins, right?
And yet, they are not just offering it, they are now releasing...
Like lawyers. It's like lawyers. They always get paid either way, right?
New features which allow you to even more degenerately gamble. And you can let me know at home, does this sound like trading to you?
You know, I think they're going to score a lot
She looks like she's kidnapped.
of points in this game. I'm going to go ahead and select the over, but that shows 44.5. But you know what? I actually think they're going to score more than that. I'm going to actually change this and move this over to 47.5.
All right. Why don't we add one more leg? Who do you think will score a touchdown?
You know, I know we traded Williams earlier, but I think Puka's going to get in the end zone in that game. So why don't we select him?
And just for fun, why don't you throw on a couple more legs?
Okay, you get the point. It's a demo for sports betting. But
Well, and I understand that maybe this whole kind of spiel that he's going through and maybe what I've been saying comes off as a little bit puritanical. And I could see a scenario in which like a group of friends getting together and betting on something might be less weird because obviously like you would maybe bet less and you're friends, so maybe you would be a little bit less stringent about this. But it feels like anytime you get like industrialized gambling involved, you get people who are cogs in that machine, and the machine doesn't care about them, and they just want to collect their debt. Like that's where it gets really like sinful almost. Anyways, you can go check this out if you want to. By CoffeeZilla, I hate this so much, but this is his channel, Voidzilla.
it's not just these companies, these financial super apps either. It's like every tech CEO has seemed to have gotten the mind virus at the same time. Like, here's the Roblox CEO considering whether it's a good idea to actually let kids use prediction markets now.
Would you ever put a prediction market inside Roblox, like let kids bet with their Robux and you know, say, I bet he's gonna steal a Tung 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 Sahur,
or I bet he's not gonna dress to impress.
yeah.
I think we would have to do that. Once again, I'll share some of the complexity.
There's no complexity.
Every single country in the world has different legislation around
Just say
loot
no.
boxes and kid gambling. And so we would have to be, it sounds very fun and obvious. Like, I love
Oh,
that.
to be clear, I think this is a horrible idea. I was just interested if you were thinking about it.
Well, I actually think it's a brilliant idea if
How?
it can be done in an educational way that's legal. And so I imagine a no free Robux, no free prizes, just a game called the Dress to Impress Predictor, where it's not like trying to get kids money or anything like that. I would be a big fan of it.
How is the answer not just an obvious no? Why is it so complicated to like be like, well, if we did it this way and not that way, we'd have to really think about how to get around all the laws and regulations. I mean, it's just crazy to watch. And you can actually see that that's most